Hey guys, Deanna here. So this week you may notice that I'm not in my room because I have moved into college. And it's really kind of bizarre, but I'm okay with it so far. Classes start on Monday, so we'll see how that goes. This week I actually finished a book. I finished White Space by Ilsa J. Bick. If I can figure out how to put some sort of image here to show you what the book looks like, I will. It was in my last book haul, so let's get started. Just as a disclaimer, there may be a lot of spoilers in this review, so if you haven't read White Space and you want to read White Space, then I suggest that you stop watching this video, go read White Space, and then come back. Okay? Okay, for those of you who have read White Space, or do not wish to read White Space and still want to see this review, hi. So, White Space was kind of weird, and not in a, like, oh, this is sci-fi, so there are going to be some strange elements to this that are supernatural. No, this was weird. You're kind of dropped at the beginning, right, into the middle of the action, and one of the main characters, Lizzie, is talking about nows and dark passages and white space and the sign of Sure, and you're not sure what's going on because Lizzie already knows what's going on and already knows what all of these things are, and so she's not going to tell you. None of the other main characters know what she's talking about either. So literally throughout about 3/4 of the book, I had no idea what any of these terms meant until you get to the end when Emma starts to develop her sense of controlling these elements. Forget it. Eric sacrifices himself and tells Emma to let go in the dark passage, and it actually wasn't that emotional. I wasn't very attached. Which is kind of the author's fault. I'm sorry, Ilsa J. Bick, but their romance was like, oh, I need to save the world, so I have to let go and make sure that the Whisper Man doesn't come into the real world and leave him in the dark passage. And so she just kind of lets go, and then there isn't much remorse after that. She does talk about it a little bit, but not much. And then the end. Like, what the hell are they even supposed to do with that? How is the story going to progress from there? Okay, so she comes back, and Kramer's there, and what? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's in it, and another detective, and they're trying to, and she found the murder victims, and she doesn't remember, but what? What are they even? Okay, so they're just plopping Emma into another Emma from a different now, and pushing her through to a different book. So I'm supposed to explore the next Emma through the next book? No, I liked the original Emma, thank you very much. And then there's like the Whisper Man coming into different bodies of people that they know, and with the fog part, and they just spent way too much time in that fog, and which was ridiculous, because none of all of that stuff needed to happen. And then Emma, as she progressed through the house, I don't know how any of that taught her how to use the cynosure. And I don't know why any of that was significant. I think it sounded like the author just made up a situation. Like, hey, okay, we're gonna make Kramer this psychologist, and we're gonna make her guardian the, like, helpful psychologist, and they're gonna try to make sure that she gets back into her little cage and into the straitjacket, and she has to try to escape. What is that? We've already established she's not crazy, despite the fact that she has a plate in her skull, 2 of them. So the entire time she just thinks she's crazy, but she still has to get out, so she's like, okay, well, maybe none of this stuff is real, and has to deliberate between what in her world is real and what isn't, despite the fact that all of it is real. Yeah. So it's this whole reality versus fantasy, except all of it is reality. They also don't give much of a backstory to most of the characters, except Casey and Eric. Casey and Eric have their whole thing with their dad, who was really abusive and would uncontrollably drink and threaten to kill them. And then Eric shot him and killed him, which is a good backstory. I like that backstory. It's solid. Emma has her little plate in her skull, and Jasper, and dear old dad who tried to see if babies could bounce. And then Rima has, like, nothing, except the fact that she can feel whispers, but we don't hear much about any of her life before she goes into the valley and before she gets sucked into the fog. And then Bode and Chad don't really have too much of a backstory, except that they're soldiers from Vietnam and that they've been transported into this future now. The verb usage was fantastic throughout the entire book. A picture rather than just telling you straight out what was going on. Personally, as a writer, I can take a lot from that and learn how to use better verbs and how to be less passive and more active. I think for White Space, I will give it 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but as I think about it more, it wasn't fantastic, and I probably won't read any more in the series, but it definitely wasn't a waste of my time. Comments? Questions? Subscribe to our channel, whatever you have to do. Erin, I will see you next week.